Welcome, smiling tigers, to Geek Salad's reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And tonight we are here to discuss episode 3 of The Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus.
Entitled The Power Broker.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to posit it with this. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, we very rarely try to compare Marvel and DC properties when it comes to movies and television. Would you agree with that? On this show, not in real life, because on real life, it's Marvel this, DC that, Marvel this, DC that.
I mean, other than all the times you've bashed on the Snyder Cut.
Well, besides that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The fact that I did an entire, thing on that last week.
Yeah.
I think just in general comparisons with how their characters are handled.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So even if I'm off base, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to say this right now. I feel like this episode just filled in with fine brush strokes, details about characters that had been whose motives had already been established in previous works, and added those extra little details while we're learning more and more. And I apologize, my allergies are starting to really act up now. We're learning more and more, not just about Sam and about Bucky, but we learned a lot about Helmut Zemo in this. And not even the big stuff. The big stuff. Wife's killed in Sokovia. When we learn something, I'm a baron, so I'm rich. Those kinds of things. You learn about how he can manifest through the network and his job working for Hydra. We didn't really know that at first, and it's these little things that not only have their subtle ties to the comics, but are great character building, as opposed to the DCEU version of, it was in the comics. What do you want? It was in the comics. Black suit Superman in the comics. Doesn't matter. Well, what about why didn't they explain why the Flash could travel through? It was in the comics.
We also, actually, what I liked about this episode is it also gave a lot more characterization to the quote-unquote villain, Kylie Morgenthau.
Yeah.
And shows kind of her progression, should we say, as a villain.
Yeah. I feel like she's starting off with really good intention. She started off with really good intentions, and now is at that point right now where she is very much that, you can fight the monster long enough to become it.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is too is that we focus a lot on her, and she's not even the big bad of this entire series. We have yet to meet the big bad of this entire series.
Right, the power broker, the titular power broker.
So let me ask you, Mike, any theories? Any just wild theories?
I mean, before this episode, I had a wild theory that Zemo was the power broker.
Yeah.
And he was kind of manipulating things from behind prison. And I still don't think that's completely off the target.
I don't think so either. I think that he's been in tune with a lot of stuff. But I heard a really great theory that I'm having a hard time shaking right now. That the power broker is actually Arnim Zola.
Ooh. That he downloaded himself somewhere else?
He downloaded himself somewhere else. And a lot of and I have to give Screen Crush the credit for this one, because they actually made a really good point for this. It would make sense, especially in the guise of we're kind of bringing Hydra back into this. Most of the monitors in Madripoor were those soupy green monitors, like the one that Cap and Natasha found when they discovered Zola in the Winter Soldier.
Interesting.
So it would be interesting too, especially if there is more of the robot body. And again, I don't think you need to do anything more than just hire Toby Jones to do a voice.
or even just like a face cap, cape face cap.
You know, if they, I don't even think they need the face cap. I thought the face that they used in Winter Soldier was terrifying enough.
Mm.
And putting that in a robot body and then giving it like that little tiny head, that would be amazing. Another
thing I love about this series in general is how each episode so far has had a very distinct feel from each other. I mean, the first
every show's got a different tone.
Yeah, the first episode was very much like just a character study of these two characters. The second was more of like a Lethal Weapon buddy cop type episode, and then this one felt like more like a Bourne/Bond action spy adventure.
It did. I mean, Madripoor wouldn't have looked out of place in any of the Daniel Craig Bond movies.
No, absolutely not.
It looked gorgeous. And I was telling one of my coworkers about this. I felt like the action was more intense, more brutal, and more mature for a Disney Plus show than I've ever seen in the MCU.
Well, especially when Bucky gets back in touch with his Winter Soldier.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about when they're like trying to escape with Sharon, and you know, dudes are getting stabbed, like literally stabbed in the gut, and the throats are being slashed, and they're being shot at with machine guns. And
I do like how, I do like how like Sharon has gone from like, you know, this, you know, like, oh gee whiz, I'm trying to, you know, be the good spy for a Cap, to I've had everything taken away from me. I've spent the last 5 years dealing with this world in Madripoor. I am no longer on the right side.
Right, exactly. Now, what would you say to the theory that she's actually working for Zemo? She's been his outside eyes the entire time.
I mean, it'd be interesting. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I mean, briefly, like, a few days after I watched the episode for the first time, I was like, I wonder if she's the power broker. That'd be an interesting little twist.
I think it would be an interesting twist. It you know, not gonna cast it out of the realm of possibilities. But I just feel like, because we don't know enough about Sharon Carter's character.
Yeah.
I mean, she's appeared in 2 movies, and we still don't know a whole lot about her. You know, we found out in the second movie that she was Peggy's niece. It would be interesting if she's trying to motivate that Peggy's legacy, but it's kind of become twisted, just kind of like how what's her name? You know, starts with the good intentions, and those become evil as well.
Carly. Yeah.
I would also like to pat myself on the back for getting the whole thing about John Walker right.
Oh yeah, he's starting to.
He's the bully. He's the bully that Steve hates.
Yeah. I mean, he did like it. It just seems like he's kind of running out of. He's like so desperate to fill Steve's boots that he's willing to go the extra mile that Steve wouldn't.
Right, but not only that, is that he's using the shield as a weapon of fear and not as a weapon of hope. And that's the thing that Steve never did. The shield never was like, oh, you know, it wasn't this thing where people would see him unless they were like true evildoers.
Right. I mean, when he slammed that guy against the wall, I was like, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay. Now you're using the Captain America name as a weapon, as opposed to a symbol.
And again, I wouldn't be one bit shocked if he points the A and says the A doesn't stand for France at some point. They are weaving that into this character at this point.
Yeah, he is a soldier first and Captain America second.
Right. Not only is he a soldier, but not a very good. He is proficient. He is a proficient killing machine.
Yeah.
But you need, you know, I mentioned this before. It's RoboCop too. It's like the reason why Murphy was so good is he had something to live for.
Yeah.
And that's what drove him as RoboCop. Whereas when they tried all the other, you know, partially dead cops, they all killed themselves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, like I brought up last episode, Walker is that bully soldier that that Tommy Lee Jones character was like, he's icing all the stats. He's the perfect soldier, and who Erskine was like, yeah, no, he's a bully. We want someone with a good heart. The body body, the serum gives the body that we need. The heart is you can't change.
Right, exactly. So I'm looking forward to seeing we're halfway through this series, which is weird to me because it's only 6 episodes. I'm okay with that, but at the same time, it's just I'm digging what I'm getting again because every episode, just like with WandaVision, every episode doesn't feel like they're already treading water. These because of the short order episode orders, there's very little filler in them. I mean, we'll always be able to pick that weak episode out of the full season, but this isn't like the Netflix 13 episodes and 10 of them are going to be astounding and 3 of them are going to be like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that jailbreak scene, which is one of the most brilliantly that is movie quality right there.
And that felt like it was straight out of Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
where it was Bucky just explaining everything as we see it happening.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and why would 2 people just start a fight? I don't know, because he dropped it out.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of fun to watch because again, and you can kind of tell, he's already done this.
Yeah.
And I think Daniel Bruhl is one of the most criminally underutilized actors working today.
He is so brilliant in everything.
Well, you and I were in the minority, I think, when when you kind of come to rating the MCU villains. You and I have him very, very high. I know a lot of people are like, well, what did he do? He broke up the friggin' Avengers.
He is so far one of the only villains that's actually accomplished what he set out to do.
Exactly, with no abilities.
Yeah.
He essentially had to use cunning and the luck of the Joker from The Dark Knight. It's just, this thing all has to go perfectly. However, I will say, I love that we're getting all these loose ends from the MCU just kind of bleeding into this one, and now you're getting Wakanda.
Oh yeah, I love. He finds these, and then there's a Dora Milaje right there. It's like, oh yeah, because you know what, Zemo escapes. He killed their king.
Yep.
They're not going to want him out.
Right, exactly, and it's going to be their justice.
Right.
Which I don't think by the end of the season, I don't think they're going to capture him. I think they want Zemo. Zemo needs to be out there. He needs to be in the ether, putting together. I was thinking it was going to be the Masters of Evil. I think it's going to be the Thunderbolts. I am at this point, I am more on board with it being evil Avengers that are doing the guise of being good.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they kill off Zemo, that'll be a massive waste. Because as soon as he put on that mask, I'm like, I'm hoping they're going to keep him around because that's too good to waste.
No, exactly. I think it worked really, really well. I think that, and again, the ability to create in live action what was in the comic book and make it look not silly.
Pink silly hood.
Well, it's purple, but yeah.
Well, yeah, no, but in the comics it was pink, wasn't it?
It was kind of like a purplish.
I think depending on who was inking purple. It.
But the thing was, he wore that outfit with the fur on the shoulders because that's what all barons do. And the the chest piece was pink.
It was not a good not a good look.
No, but it is really cool to watch. I wouldn't put it past them to, if they're going to give us anything more to make Zemo more comics accurate, that he will. suffer some facial deformity at some point, so he has to leave the mask on the entire time.
But what about that super adhesive glue that he gets spilt on? And
damn you, 1970s Marvel!
I wish I was making that up.
I know. But I feel like the entire show is very refreshing to watch because we're being fed Easter eggs as rewards for being comic book fans. Madripoor means nothing other than a pretty somewhat, it's somewhere in Asia city. It could be Korea, Singapore, whatever. It's this bright neon city where everybody raves and everybody's a criminal.
And I do love the fact that, for all of the serious and really fairly brutal scenes, they have every now and then they have that little laugh, like when Zemo and them are on the plane, he's like speaking German with his Baron. He's like, if the food smells bad, give it to the Americans.
It doesn't pass the smell test. Well, the whole thing was Sam too, and this was the most fun part of this episode. Was like, man, we're in the city, and I still got to look like a pimp. Smiley Tiger, man. Even this guy's name is just terrible.
And having to drink the vodka with snake bile, that actually is a thing.
Yeah. It was really fun to watch, and the beauty of this is I can't wait to see what the next episode is, because I know they're gonna peel back the onion a little more. We're gonna get a little more of this, but it's all gonna be the slow burn, because again, the 6 episodes, and we still don't know who the power broker is. I quite honestly wouldn't be one bit shocked if that's your season cliffhanger.
Just to reveal who it is?
The reveal who the power broker is.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they reveal in like 4th or 5th episode.
Oh, they could do that too, just kind of like they did with Luke Cage.
Yeah, but with a much better payoff, because that final fight of Luke Cage was so stupid.
The outfit looked terrible, but then again,
it looked really terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. All in all, the show is still. I still think if I was going to have to pick a clear choice, as of right now, it's still WandaVision.
I thought it'd be Loki after that trailer.
Well, I haven't seen an episode of Loki yet. I don't know.
So after that trailer, it's still
that trailer. I'm like, well, I was ambivalent about Loki. I was like, yeah, okay, it'll be fine. It's Marvel, so right now we know that they're firing on all of the cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. And then I saw that trailer. I'm like, wait, they're doing Doctor Who? And it's like, all right, I'm in. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing something different.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna get right now. Again, we're only 3 episodes into this, and there are 2. WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier are 2 very different shows.
Very much,
but very different shows. But I'm still gonna give the Duke currently right now to WandaVision, only because, what are these things you call expectations? Those belong out the window, my friend, because you're not gonna know what the hell is going on, and you're still gonna be piecing it together by the last episode. Where we were going to reveal stuff to you. But with Falcon and Winter Soldier, it is a more cut and dry story. It feels more like a side mission from one of the movies. It's like if movies were broken up like video games, and Sam's been given the shield. Now, can you complete the side mission and find out who the power broker is?
I do love the scene where Sam and Bucky were talking, and Sam was like, "No, I shouldn't have given the shield to Zemo. I should have destroyed it." He's like, Bucky's like, "That shield means a lot to a lot of things to a lot of people, including me."
Yeah. Can we also talk too about the tie back to Winter Soldier?
Oh, when he started saying the words.
No, that was Civil War. No, I'm talking about Troubled Man.
Oh yeah. It's like, well, I like music from the 40s, so.
It was fine. I liked it. I like Marvin Gaye. And like, both Zemo and Sam are just like, what are you talking about? This is brilliant.
He's like, yeah, it exemplifies the African American struggle. I love Sam's like, he's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah, I am enjoying this one because again, we're getting a lot of we're getting a nice dose. It's not overtly, bring up the Snyder Cut real quick. It isn't this Easter egg bukkake of, oh my God, they brought that up. Oh my God, they brought that up. They're subtle, and they're still fun for people who have watched the movies, and they are fun for people who have read the comic books. But again, you don't need to have done all of the homework to really enjoy this show.
Sorry, my cat's banging on the door again.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I mean, quite honestly, I don't know what else I have to say about this. How about you, Mike?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Does that cat wait like 1 minute so we can sign off?
I certainly hope so, because that's what he's getting.
All right, great. All right, cool. So, well, thank you so much. What were your thoughts on episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier? Play, comment down below. Like, subscribe. Follow us on the social medias on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio, on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. Also, check out our pod store, our merch store, Geek Salad Podcast, where you can get all our t-shirts and mugs and whatnot. We also host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can get that wherever you are getting your podcast from. And this month, go to Podchaser. Listen to our podcast. Give it a 4-star review. And leave a comment leave a comment and review, because this month, every review you leave on Podchaser, Podchaser will donate 25 cents to Meals on Wheels. If we reply back to it, they will donate another 25 cents. So please keep those going. Keep the 4-star reviews going. This is how we, hopefully we don't offend anybody with our wild thoughts. I'm sorry I insulted the Snyder Cut yet again. It's what I do. It's built into my DNA at this point.
That's
like a Winter Soldier.
That's going to give us a negative 4-star review.
Exactly. It's like a Winter Soldier reaction right now. Mike said the words in Russian, and now I'm just like, So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. We'll talk to you.